Welcome to audio commentary for True Love, a StabMovies.com short film. I'm the writer and director, Joshua Patrick Dudley, and I'm here to tell you all the behind-the-scenes tidbits of what really went on. Okay, I'll get serious now. So True Love is actually the very first short film that I wrote, and I wasn't planning on really ever having it as part of like the trifecta of terror or the 12 months of terror or any of the short film projects that we tried to do. It was just something I had written and thought maybe about expanding into a movie, and I wanted to see where it went. But once we started filming more of the short films, and once we got some better equipment and we learned some more tricks and I learned how to do some green screening and special effects and stuff like that, I was like, okay, you know what? It's time. We are gonna try to film True Love. So we actually got it all set up once, and two of the actors didn't show up, which is like such a common theme for us. You think we would be more prepared. Like, if possible, we would just cast understudies for everybody so that we always have someone ready in case that happens. But we're barely able to cast productions as it is because, like, everyone that's in this production is such a great example of why. Because we rely on our friends and our co-workers and everybody else to kind of provide the cast for us. So Nicole Linton, the one you're looking at right now, she helped me get Hannah, who she just looked at, and Kia, who you've never seen in another production before this, into this production as well to replace the actresses that didn't show up. Lindsay, I had worked with, so I knew her quite well, and I believe this was her first production. She may have done the other Stab 7 first. Honestly, it's been so long, I can't remember which came first. But, so, you may have just noticed a really bad lighting switch there, too. So we started filming and we were trying to keep up, but the sun set really, really quick and it got really dark. So we tried to get some lighting going and we couldn't get the main light to work. So they're basically lit by this red light for a little while. And it's supposed to look like the candlelight, but it got dark. Like, if you rewind it and look again, it got dark in a second. Like, it was insta blackout. But the girls are killing it. Like, they really got into these characters, and they really wanted to bring these women to life and to show strong, powerful women characters, which is huge to me, and it's one of my biggest influences in writing. I always try to empower the females, and horror movies are notorious for taking advantage of females, so I always try to make females stronger and more prevalent. And if you notice in my movies, the females are often the killers, they're often the aggressor. They're not the ones that are being sexually exposed on screen. It's more of the men that you would see in our movies, just to kind of pay back history. So these witches are trying to create the perfect man, and you'll notice with my cheesy special effects and of the different colored smokes, which they're all supposed to represent different parts of the witchcraft world: earth, air, fire, and water, the elements. So obviously the green is the earth, the blue is the water, so on. You get the idea. So eventually we got that light to work. Going back to that, if you notice now, they have a much better light on them and they're not red. And here's some more behind the scenes information. This location that we're filming at is actually my mother's backyard at the house I grew up in, but very shortly we will run out of time and we will change to a different location, and you almost don't notice it when it happens. I'm going to point it out to you so you're going to notice it, but this was really fun to film. We try to work the buck knife 120 into everything that we do, basically. So she just tore out a piece of her own heart using one. That was a really fun effect to make. We actually made that out of toilet paper too, and fake blood, and it just really looked gruesome. So more of my digital effects. Now they're calling on the goddesses. And this is like one of my most memorable parts, because I love when we get to Kia and they all ask for something from the goddesses to give the man, and she asks for a giant dick, and it just becomes this running theme that Kia's all about the dick, or her character. I shouldn't say Kia, but if you watch her interview from our documentary Behind the Mask, you'll see how much Kia enjoys doing this, and all the girls from this basically were interviewed for that, so you'll get to see and learn more. If you check out StabMovies.com Behind the Mask, you get to hear their side of the stories too. That's one of my favorite shots, the up through the cauldron shot. It was a pain in the butt. and it was really, really hard to do, and the cauldron was wet and melting with wax and all this other stuff, so putting the camera in there wasn't easy, so I had to balance it. It was a tricky thing, but we got it. This was cool too. We changed up the lighting, and we did some special effects, and that was such a good morph to make him appear. Like, the only minor things you might notice are some of the candle flames don't perfectly line up because obviously we're outside, but we are now at the second location. So that's Patrick Stewart playing Desmond, the naked man in the movie, and I just want to give Pat a huge shout out for doing this. Like, we had another guy that was supposed to play Desmond, and he was another actor that didn't show up, and Pat basically said yes before reading the script, and then found out he basically had to be naked through the whole thing, and still said yes. And he was really nervous about it, but he came around in the end, and it was really cool because he came through in a big way, because not a lot of people would do this. So, though it is YouTube friendly, so you never really get to see anything on here, he was naked for quite a while, and if not naked, he was covered up by very small things for long periods of time of being outside. And production, like I said, had gone on for so long that we're now at the second location, and it was cold. Even the girls all have sweaters on, and they were still freezing. Luckily, I was behind the camera, so I had like a full winter jacket on, and I was bundled to the brim. But they were all on camera, and they wanted to look good, so they were dealing with the cold. So this story is really fun for me too. I had a good time writing the script. I'm a huge fan of The Craft, and obviously, if you're a Scream fan, you know that Neve Campbell is also in The Craft. So it was kind of cool to do a little bit of a tribute to The Craft, but this started my theme of nobody gets to live in these movies, in the short films anyways. It's not always true. Sometimes the killer gets away, on a rare occasion. Actually, I'm not sure if there's ever a lone survivor in our movies, but almost all of our short films, every single character always dies, and it's not because I think everyone deserves to die or anything crazy like that. It's just, there's not a lot of people in the short movies usually, so if everybody dies, that means more death scenes, and you guys are here for horror movies, so we try to give you what you want. You might recognize that shot too. That same forest shot was used at the beginning of Thursday the 12th, our tribute to Friday the 13th, which actually premiered the month after this. But like I said, this movie was intended to come out, or a short film was intended to come out many years before it did. I think the script was 6 years old when we finally got to it and said, okay, hey, let's film this. I want to say 6. It might be 5. I could be wrong. I might have just lied to you all. So I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan too. So the lines that are coming up and the back and forth with the Wizard of Oz lines, that's all because I'm a huge Oz fan. And many of you know that I write kids books based on the Wizard of Oz too. Check them out. LostInOzTrilogy.com. But the actors did such a great job, and like I said, this is at the second location still too, so this kicks off the big killing frenzy, if you will, the finale, the fireworks of the movie. This is what kicks it off, as Lindsay's character melts Nicole's character. And this was, again, another tribute to the Wizard of Oz, so we really wanted her to melt. So this took a lot. Like, she has a lot of fake blood on her and, like, toilet paper and stuff so she could peel it off to make it look like her skin was peeling. And then digitally later we made all the melty effects, or I should say I made all the melty effects and that kind of jazz, and made it look like she was shrinking and shredding and stuff like that. And then to that cheap puddle of plastic body parts. But, Lindsay's cackle, we almost dubbed a Wicked Witch cackle there just for it to make sense, but you know, I just left it because it's authentic to the moment. If you notice though, her hands are covered in fake blood. Her hands are bright red because she kept helping out behind the scene. Lindsay is such a committed actress. She comes prepared, she knows her lines, she gives it her all, and she wants to help with everything. So here's the discovery of the first murder, and earlier in a different draft of the script that I have no clue where it is, like I still don't have it, you kind of learned what the girl's powers were more earlier, aside from seeing the colored puffs of smoke. So you knew that the Fiona character had fire powers, and that the Celeste character had water powers, and that Lindsay's character has earth powers, and so on and so forth. I have such a hard time remembering all the character names, so this was more fun for me trying to get these effects done. The digital flames around the fist came out pretty cool, and I like the sparkling magic. This part was really, really challenging. really challenging to get the effects to kind of look even okay. So I know it's not amazing, but I did what I could considering I have no experience. So.
Did you do that for me?
So the whole idea of this movie too was basically that there is no such thing as true love, even though there is such a thing as true love. True love can be so powerful that it can make you do crazy things. But truthfully, it's just a thought and just a feeling. So what is true love and what does true love mean? And that's what this short film is trying to dissect. Does true love truly mean that you do anything for anyone? That you'd kill for someone? That you die for someone? Or does true love just mean that, you know, you really care about that person? But this was such a great time. Everybody gave it their all. This was 2 days, maybe even 2.5 days worth of filming, I think. I'm not sure. We had to go back. Yeah, I believe we had to go back for a third day. Nicole got to leave early, so you don't see her in any of the finale stuff. And luckily her body had melted, and Lindsay got to leave too, but she stayed and watched the rest of production too. And Kia had to stay because she was dead on the ground. But Hannah, this is such a great scene for her. She really shows off her acting chops, and I love working with her because of the scene. She's so believable, and I really feel for her here. So, but overall, this was such a great experience, and it was so much fun to do something crazy for Valentine's Day.
You were a mistake.
Just look at her face. Absolutely nutso. Like there's something about her that Sissy Spacek from Carrie liked to me, but a lot of that background stuff is all digital too, the spots on the ground and stuff like that. So, you know, we may not be the biggest budget YouTube channel around, but we certainly do what we can. And like I said, we put a lot of work into this movie. This script I wanted to make for such a long time. And now we are actually getting ready to film a prequel to it. It's called True Love: The Beginning, and it tells you the story of the first attempt of making the perfect man. So hopefully that will come out this year, which is 2020. Who knows how long this video will be on YouTube, so you could be listening to this in 10 years and not know. So it might be out already, depending on what year it is. But we're hoping to film it during 2020. But I'm making these commentary videos right now during the coronavirus outbreak. So we're on pause currently. We were supposed to be filming at the beginning of April, and now we can't do anything until at least May, so we have to shuffle around production and get everybody ready again. But you will get to see all of the girls from this movie except Lindsay and a new boy, so definitely check that out. Thanks for watching the video and listening to the commentary, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube.